bunch of celebrities are now manufacturing consent for mass surveillance, and Madison Beer is the latest one. She recently said about Australia's social media ban for under 16 when somebody, I guess some interviewer got, why are we asking Madison Beer her opinion on tech policy to begin with? Like, I have no idea. But some enterprising journalists did ask Madison about this topic, and I guess they were like, "Oh, Australia just enacted mass age verification laws. What do you think about it, Madison Beer?" And Madison goes, "Really? That's incredible. Honestly, that's amazing. I'm sorry to say to any under 16-year-olds who are probably very upset right now, that's still so young. Prior to 16, you don't need to be on social media. I know that it might be hard." First of all, so rich. Madison Beer. Madison has been on social media since she was like 12 years old. Madison made her career as a teenage influencer. So it's very rich, of course. And she says, that might be hard, especially if you've been on it, especially we live at a time where every waking millisecond is social media, social media, social media. But I promise you, you're only going to look back and be grateful. That's my opinion. I wish someone would have taken my phone away at that age. These celebrities are so infuriating because it's all well and good for you to say that you wish your phone was taken away. But if your phone was taken away, you wouldn't have the career that you have today. And with these comments, I think this account Deep Humor, which is another YouTuber that I really like, that the stuff that they've been covering, they said it's sad that celebrities support invasive laws like this without understanding why it's bad. This isn't about protecting kids. It's forcing everyone to submit ID verification to use social media. This is about collecting biometric data and destroying privacy. Exactly. So I think Madison does a couple dumb things here. Number one, she's a huge hypocrite because, again, she made her career as a teen influencer. She has the platform that she has and the life and the opportunities that she has because she built her career as a teen. Second of all, um, what she doesn't understand and what none of these people seem to grasp is like exactly what this deep humor guy is saying is that it's not about children. It's not about like keeping kids off social media. Not only does this not prevent them from using social media, it just pushes them into like less regulated spaces online, but it forces all of us, like it forces you, Madison, to upload and scan your face every time you want to Google something now. That's what the law will do. So it has nothing to do with kids. So she's like, "Oh, sorry, I know a lot of kids are upset." No, a lot of adults are upset because we have to scan our faces too. We have to input all of our information too. And these stupid celebrities just like don't seem to understand that. And I'm also just like, okay, if you regret it so much, then give up your platform, Madison. Then what are you doing on here? If you regret, then you get off. It's like all these people that hate on social media, which there's reasons to criticize social media. Again, I think we should regulate social media through data privacy laws and transparency laws and other things like that. But it's like, I don't know, Madison Beer just made such a living on social media, especially from the time that she's young. So it's just frustrating. Um, Anyway, I'm just trying to catch up with the chat. um, and yeah, if you want to support keeping kids off social media, I think kids actually have a right to access information. So, it's like keeping kids out of libraries, which a lot of people do want to keep kids out of libraries. They don't want kids to be able to read whatever books, they want. I think that's wrong. I personally believe in young people's right to access information. Now, I think there should be parents involved. I think if you raise a good if you have an open relationship with your child, you can encourage them to consume, to be responsible, and you can moderate their behavior, the information that they're consuming to some extent. But you have to remember that a lot of marginalized kids, we know that the primary way that LGBTQ youth, for instance, gain access to information about sexuality and gender identity, et cetera, is all from the internet. So I think it's just really important to not create these laws that not only cut people like that off, but cut adults off. These laws basically mass remove LGBTQ content, reproductive justice content, any sort of progressive information from the internet. And we don't want to remove progressive information from the internet for kids or adults. Yeah, I'm streaming already because I streamed on Wednesday and then I was like, but it's supposed to be called Free Speech Friday, so I should do it on Friday. So now I'm just going to do it on Friday from now on. I'm probably not going to do it on Wednesday because I actually don't have time to do it like twice a week. So anyway, also this celebrity stuff, really, I wanted to talk about it. So there's a bunch of other stuff. So Madison Beer is just the tip of the iceberg, unfortunately. We also have a lot of other celebrities at the scene of the crime. So let me just go on archive. Hold on a second. So we have Oprah Winfrey, who, by the way, I've never liked because Oprah is just a capitalist and she's just on board with the worst people all the time. So Oprah Winfrey also, of course, has been praising, this social media, which I hate the way that it's even written, like the way that these articles are written saying social media ban for children. It's a mass identity verification law. That's how it should be written about in these headlines. Sorry, my throat is really killing me. It should be written about as mass identity verification. And all these journalists writing up these headlines saying, social media ban for children. It should say Oprah Winfrey praises Australia's mass forced identity verification system, whatever. That's what the headline should say. But the headline is not saying that. The headline is putting forward this misleading framing already to get you, the reader, to go along with this as well. Anyway, Oprah Winfrey sucks, but she says, I think you're going to change the lives of an entire generation who are going to have better lives. What the hell are you talking about, Oprah? We have, by the way, all the evidence, and we'll get into this later in the stream, shows that that's actually not what's happening. It's actually causing a lot of harm already. And they already want to ban, we'll get to this in a minute. They already want to ban cell phones now because the social media ban isn't working as they wanted. So they just want to ban cell phones, which is crazy. So yes, we have Oprah. And then we have more. We have Kristen Bell, another celebrity here. So Kristen Bell posted on Instagram. I guess she was on some. First of all, I'm sorry to bring Jonathan Haidt into the feed. Jonathan Haidt, of course, is the Heritage Foundation right-wing, aligned guy who is on the board of Barry Weiss's fake university. He's a right-winger who's spread the idea that trans people become trans basically through Instagram, that social media is turning kids trans and gay, and women are inherently neurotic. And he's a misogynist. He's terrible, but anyway, of course, he excitedly reposts this video by Kristen Bell talking about, these stupid child safety efforts. So let's hear what Kristen Bell has to say. Hold on.
11 and 9. Do you let them use social media, and what types of conversations are you having about it?
They do not have phones. They have iPods that they can use for music and stuff. And I guess they can text with grandma at home because it's on the Wi-Fi. But I mean, to be honest, the initial conversations we had with our kids were about how phones are a trick. We felt like that was a interesting way to introduce it. Like whenever my husband and I would pick up our phone, we would go, oh, this phone, it has all these tricks inside that make me want to come back to it. So that they kind of developed a little bit of a suspicion about it, which was really helpful. Smart. And then to be honest, I'm just glad people are researching it and exploring it, because it's sort of like with every piece of new technology, cars are so great, we can get everywhere. And then we're like, whoops, accidents, we got to do seatbelts. Like there's going to have to be progression with our understanding and how we're caring for the people that are using this.
Jim Boy just set me
technology. So I also loved Jonathan Haidt's book. I'm very glad that he wrote it. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, the comparison to cars is so interesting because communication technology is not like cars. We're talking about phones, and it's interesting that she's now, and it just goes back to I'll show you this other clip as well. Actually, I was going to bring it up later, but I think it's relevant. Because you'll notice how it all started with social media, right? It started with social media, and it started with, big tech social media. And now very quickly, you'll see that it's just moved to phones. And this is what these cell phone bans are about too. But look at this. So here's this is like one of the biggest I guess
In terms of
Australian this is like a big Australian show, Sky News, or it's sorry, I don't know if it's British or Australian. Anyway, whatever. Um, it's News Corp, of course. So let's listen to what these pundits are saying already about the Australia ban.
in terms of us seeing the efficacy of the policy, I don't think we're going to see it, and I certainly don't think that we're going to achieve what we want to. And as you know, News Corp has pushed very, very strongly on let them be kids. And I feel as I've raised two.
Let them be kids. When she says News Corp, again owned by Rupert Murdoch, has pushed very strongly on let them be kids. The let them be kids thing is this like coded anti-LGBTQ thing, right? It's like, let them be kids. Don't introduce them to gender ideology. Don't introduce them to sex ed. Don't introduce them to any of these harmful ideas. We have to let children be children, right? Like we can't bring them into adult thing. It's just this like paternalistic bullshit, anti-LGBTQ shit.
Daughters who went through that age group as well, and I want this ban to work, but I don't think doing it through the tech companies now, as I've seen it unfold, I think it's going to be an issue with hardware. Is that are you actually going to be allowed to have a phone over under 16? Because I think that is the only way to stop. There has to be a physical barrier. They find a way around it, and the worst thing we can do is, having gone into it, is to then find that we failed at it. Yeah, you have France following it. We have to change. In terms of doing it through the tech companies now, as I've seen it unfold.
So you hear what she says. Now, as I've seen it unfold, of course, none of these bans are actually working or doing anything that they claimed they would accomplish. And so very quickly, they're moving the goalposts to phones, which is what I've been covering from the beginning. Like and you see this with this celebrity rhetoric, which I'm talking about is like how these celebrities play a role in this is, I'm all for, by the way, like maybe your 2-year-old or 5-year-old or whatever doesn't need a cell phone. Some of them do. Some of them need phones because they have like things like insulin pumps at school or whatever. Or, they have to text their mom or whatever. And it's fine to get them a dumb phone for that stuff too, by the way. I'm not saying that we have to like put phones in the hands of every kid, but you see how cell phone ban laws can be very easily weaponized. And it's just so revealing that these celebrities and these pundits and these people in power and these media figures, they went so quickly from, oh, social media, oh, big tech, don't you guys hate Meta? Don't you guys hate whatever? Oh, we're going to crack down on them. Again, never mind that these child safety laws are a huge reward to those companies by allowing them to harvest even more data, including biometric data. But it's all like, like everybody get mad. Everybody let's manufacture consent for, these child safety laws that are just on social media. It's just banning social media for kids under 16. And of course they want to raise it to 18 eventually and then 25. And I have a story on that coming out next week, actually. So please subscribe to my newsletter. If you don't, it's usermag.co, or you can get my newsletter on Patreon. I have a big story coming out next week about some of this stuff that I've been working on for months. But anyway, so it starts off like, oh yeah, we're just banning the social media. Don't you agree? Social media is so bad. Social media is so harmful, brain rot. And then as she says, oh, well, now I actually don't think it's enough with the tech companies. I think it's a hardware problem, right? Like I just want to play this one more time again because it's so egregious.
Companies now, as I've seen it unfold, I think it's going to be an issue with hardware.
That's what I'm saying, is that that's what we're talking about. And this is why you see these more authoritarian countries that are further along than us in authoritarianism actually making changes to the hardware, actually making it say like, only devices manufactured in this country, are ones that you can use, or they have to have this like surveillance chip on them, or you have to have a government installed app that, can monitor anything on your phone. That's the way it's going. And that's what, when these people are talking about these social media bans, how quickly it goes to cell phone bans. And we know the cell phone bans are harmful. We know that these cell phone bans don't work. We know that they lead to increasing, suspensions. We just saw reports actually that Black students are being suspended at significantly higher rates than white students under these school cell phone ban laws. I thought this was an interesting point where this guy said cell phone bans. Oh, so first of all, you have this guy saying enforcement of cell phone bans in schools led to a significant increase in student suspensions in the short term, but disciplinary actions began to dissipate after the first year, blah, blah, blah. But what he doesn't say is that all of those suspensions and all of those interactions with police happen primarily to children, to Black kids. And we've seen from these pager laws that they don't dissipate over time. It sort of, what's the word? It compiles, or it, you know what I'm saying? It grows basically, where more and more Black kids end up having interactions with the police or end up having this suspensions on their records. And also, cell phone bans in Florida seem to increase suspensions by 16%, but only increase test scores by 1%, which is not a meaningful increase. You could literally increase test scores by significantly higher than that by mandating ventilation and fresh air in the classrooms. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. And you see this guy, I don't know who this guy Oliver Curry is. He's some sort of researcher, but he's done a really good job debunking Jonathan Haidt, who of course was trying to promote this. And by the way, it's not even 1%. It's not even 1%. It's 0.06 percentile points. 0.06. So basically a statistic, nothing. Like, it's nothing. We know that this, like, all these people being like, oh, these cell phone bans, they help. No, they don't. They don't. They just lead to mass suspensions. And we know that, by the way, from how, how the beeper bans went. I think a lot of people that are here, myself included, because I was a kid in the 90s, but I wasn't like old enough to have a beeper. But I thought this was a really good piece on the beeper bans, which is what these cell phone ban laws are written after. 30 years before parents and lawmakers sought to save the youth from smartphones, a similar conversation took place around beepers. Basically, what these people believed in the 1990s is that having a beeper, a child having a beeper, was causing their mental health crises, because it would beep, and that was like disruptive to their like learning or like communication, and it was like altering their brains. And also beepers themselves, just having one, would like lead you into a life of crime. So that is ridiculous. And you can see all of this really bad all of this bad moral panic stuff that all came from law enforcement, of course. And this guy Lewis in the UK does a great job sort of documenting through history all of these ridiculous bans. And then it shows, what happened basically. Thousands of young people were victims of these laws. So a lot of these kids were arrested. They have permanent criminal records, or they were suspended, and that's on their, education history. Taking an unactivated beeper to school led to a 13-year-old boy being arrested. So you can see that there was a lot of protests. By April 1994, there had been 700 beeper arrests in Chicago schools, with the prior school year seeing 1,000. Some still felt these numbers were too low. This guy says, I guess, what's ALD? I don't know, some sort of administrator said, right now, I don't think enough people are being arrested for bringing beepers into Chicago schools. A 5-year-old in New Jersey was suspended for taking on a beeper on a school trip. So I just want you guys to know, like, when you look through, like, when you hear about all this stuff about cell phones, we've been through this all before. We've been through this. We know these laws, these cell phone ban laws, are written off these beeper laws. They're like basically the same. We know how this plays out. It all plays out. And by the way, it was comic books before that. It's been so many of these things. Hampton University required students to register their beepers with campus police. It's just ridiculous. And of course, the beeper companies tried to fight back, and people were like, oh, look at how bad, they are. Look at these evil beeper companies that want to get these children hooked on beepers. And by the way, there's a great New York Times article where the New York Times reporter actually does his job, although the framing is absurd, where they actually interview like teenagers, and they interview this one guy and they're like, why do you have a beeper? Like, what are you getting out of this beeper? Why would you have this thing? And he's like, oh, it's actually really useful because my mom has to pick me up after hockey practice, and sometimes that ends at like 11 p.m. So like I send her like a beep, like a pager thing. Or like it helps me keep in touch with friends. That was literally when they actually interviewed these kids about how they were using their beepers. They were literally like, oh yeah, like it's so my friend couldn't call me back. But adults were like, no, it's this whole thing. So I just like all of this stuff is nonsense. And of course, the bigger thing too is that these laws and these bans are not just used against children. It starts against children, but it expands very quickly. And I think that we need to sort of talk about that as well. Let's just get back to the celebrities. Oh my gosh, hold on a second. Oh God. Oh, sorry. It's an influencer who's mad at me. Okay. Let me just reply to him because I don't want him to get mad at me. Hold on. Okay, I can't actually deal with him right now. I'm going to have to write like a longer response later. Sorry. So we have Madison Beer, Oprah Winfrey, Kristen Bell. Who else do we have here? We have Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Look at these two insanely rich, out-of-touch people that have never had to work for it. I guess Meghan did work for a while, but I'm not even like a Meghan hater. Ugh, how do I get rid of this thing? But she's an idiot on this topic. So I think part of it is that they're from the UK. And even though they like to act like, oh, we went against the British monarchy or whatever, they're still fundamentally aligned with power. And they're still fundamentally aligned with institutional power. By the way, Kate Middleton also supports these bans. But anyway, so of course these people support these mass identification laws as well. So they issued a statement. Why did they have to release a statement? This is another one where it's like, at least with Madison Beer, someone asked her about it. Like, I don't think we need to hear from Madison Beer again about tech policy, but it's like, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, why are you guys issuing a statement on this? Why are you issuing a statement? All you had to do is honestly shut up, because now you're issuing a statement to make it clear that you side with power. It's like, let me just make it clear that, I'm on the wrong side of history on this stuff. But anyway, I guess they have so much money, they can do whatever they want. And they have this massive foundation that they're probably going to, direct to pushing right-wing agenda. Great. Anyway, so Meghan Markle and Prince Harry released this statement saying basically that they're excited. They support the online safety amendment in Australia. And they said on December 10th, Australia will make history as the world's first country to ban social media for children under 16. The legislation, which passed with overwhelming public support, is an urgent intervention to address unsafe and addictive platforms like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, fining the companies up to $50 million if they fail to keep young users off their services. Okay, once again, these fines are used, the threat of the fines means that these companies are aggressively censoring any sort of adult content off the platform because they don't want to be fined. So they end up censoring all adult content off the platform because it's better to just make the entire platform PG-13, and while of course harvesting mass amounts of biometric data because they don't want to get fined. So that's what Meghan Markle is supporting. Oh, great. Here's even more. We support Australia's leadership, blah, blah, blah. These technology companies are negatively impacting young people with little to no recourse and accountability. Okay, well, you're giving them a huge reward, you idiots. You're giving them a huge reward. This bold, decisive act. This sounds like it was written by ChatGPT. decisive action to protect children at a critical moment in their development sends a strong signal that a child's mind is not a commodity to be exploited. This is so ironic. A child's mind is not a commodity to be exploited. So let's let these evil tech companies harvest even more data on children. Let's actually allow them to exploit children even more by mass harvesting even more data on them. But here's where like the right-wing reactionary rhetoric, you can see it starts to like all blend together. It buys young people valuable time back in their childhoods. Like it's just this idea of like protecting children's innocence and like all of this stuff that's just terrible. Oh, sorry, there's like a spammer in the chat. Is there? I don't know. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. Sorry, guys, I don't have a moderator. Anyway. Okay. So Meghan Markle, is pushing this. And of course, Michelle Obama. Again, these are all Meghan Markle and Michelle Obama and all these people. It's like they're liberals, right? They're liberals. So they don't want to challenge power. They don't want to challenge capitalism. They're actually completely aligned with these tech companies. Michelle Obama coming out and supporting all of this stuff. It's like, of course you're supporting this stuff, Michelle Obama. Look at what look at how your husband treated the tech industry when he was president. He literally facilitated its growth and gave these people rewards after rewards. But of course, Michelle Obama had, Barry Weiss's the Barry Weiss contributor Heritage Foundation booster Jonathan Haidt on the podcast. Let's hear what he says. Oh, wait. I'm sure he's going to say some bullshit. Ugh.
My daughter was described by her third grade teacher as a giant ball of sunshine. And she still is.
I love that.
Let's just see how old his daughter is, by the way. I'm just curious. Because I feel like she's probably like 40. Because he's old as fuck. Oh, I guess she was 19, she was 9, 6 years ago. So she's 15. How old is he? Okay, he's 63 years old. Sorry, 62 years old. He's 62 years old and he has a 15-year-old? He had a kid when he was almost 50. I mean, okay. I wonder if he has a young wife. Sorry, I'm like going down a rabbit hole now. Interesting. Oh, yeah, he does. Okay. Of course he does. All right. Anyway, back to Jonathan Haidt. Okay, so his daughter was a ball of sunshine. Okay, great.
I never let her on social media. She's 15. Yeah. She wants Snapchat. All her friends are on it. I have not let her have it. But I hear so many stories from parents whose daughters were also giant balls of sunshine. Yeah. And then they got Instagram in 5th, 6th, 7th grade. And then they stopped being giant balls of sunshine.
You know what else happens in middle school, you fucking dumbass? Oh my God, I can't curse because I'm going to get demonetized. Kids go through puberty, okay? Yeah, the difference between a 9-year-old and a 15-year-old is significant. Kids go through puberty and they become teenagers. And guess what? Yeah, they're not balls of sunshine because their hormones are raging and they're going through puberty and they're growing up in a freaking hellscape, okay? In a capitalist hellscape. And people like Jonathan Haidt want to make that worse. They want to take services away from teenagers at risk, by the way. Talk about giant balls of sunshine. A lot of kids, by the way, are suffering. And this suffering is being made worse by people like him.
And they're anxious and they're comparing themselves and they're focused on their skin and their hair.
Also, the irony, a 15-year-old girl is focused on her skin and her hair and her body. Guess what it was like before the internet? A lot of you guys might be too young to remember. I encourage you guys to go to like your local library and see if you can check out a woman's magazine from the year 2000 or check out a woman's magazine from the year 1995 and tell me what that's like, because I did so much research for my book, which is behind me somewhere, where I checked out I went through actually hundreds of old women's magazines, and I interviewed the first ever female feminist bloggers and how they sort of challenged traditional media. the media ecosystem for children, for young women, was so vicious and so horrible. That's why every single woman in the 2000s had an eating disorder, because like like, if you want to know why women care about their skin and their hair and their appearance, first of all, women are going through puberty, and second of all, we live in a patriarchal, misogynistic society. And by the way, this man is a raging misogynist. He contributes to that. And he's framed women as hysterical and anxious and just inherently flawed, like just nonsense.
And their bodies. So,
and by the way, you know what social media did? Gave rise to the body positivity movement. And girls today on social media see a significantly wider variety of bodies that were ever represented in traditional media, ever. Ugh, really bothers me.
Well, so I think a lot of parents can recognize this. Even if it's not in every single family, it's in something like every third family. So everybody knows.
He just made that up. It's in something like every third family. What are you talking about? What?
Knows a family that has a daughter, especially, who got on social media and became depressed, anxious, self-conscious.
Just ignore my like fashion bloggers that I follow on Facebook. I follow so many fashion people on Facebook. Anyway, it's also the irony of like some like beautiful woman coming up like after him. It's so funny. But anyway, this is very silly. What is he talking about? Like, and of course, Michelle Obama is, having this man on, looking all like pensive here. Like, this is just ridiculous. Like, are there problems with, body image among girls? Yes. Again, that's thanks to the patriarchy. That's thanks to, all of this and capitalism, right? The fact that like capitalism and the skincare industry and the beauty industry continues to sell girls, as young as middle school and even before, this idea that they need skincare, that they're flawed, that they're inherently flawed, and they need to buy XYZ to like fix this. Oh, my second video. Yeah, it's this girl, she's like she's a fashion blogger, and she does get ready with me, but she is naked, or she's not naked to them, but she always starts in her underwear. Sorry. Anyway, but my point is, like, as somebody in the chat said too, it's like there's like these weird countdown clocks to when girls turned 18 in the 2000s. Now young girls are pressured into doing sex work the minute they turn 18. Like, there's so many ways that girls are pressured to like commodify their bodies and view their bodies in a certain way. And that's thanks to capitalism. It's not sus content, you guys. It's fat guys. I follow a lot of like fashion bloggers. Please stop. But anyway, I think like the bigger point is that this man, Jonathan Haidt, is such a reactionary, terrible person that is pushing some of these really, really bad laws. So, just to continue, so we have Michelle Obama, Jessica Seinfeld also is another one who does a bunch of stuff with Jonathan Haidt, and of course these people are also huge Zionists as well. Kristen Bell, Oprah Winfrey, Madison Beer, and then we have Lizzo. So let's talk about Lizzo. Lizzo is, by the way, Lizzo is a huge hypocrite. Okay, we don't fuck with Lizzo over here, because Lizzo was like, wasn't she doing some shady shit with her dancers, mistreating people? I don't trust Lizzo at all. Anyway, of course, Lizzo supports the Kids Online Safety Act and supports all of this nonsense. So Lizzo came out in support of the Online Safety Act a while ago, and a bunch of LGBTQ activists tried to, explain to her that this is bad. Who did she partner with? Common Sense Media, a right-wing reactionary organization, again, that pushes Heritage Foundation tech laws. So that is who Lizzo has partnered with. And Parents Together Action, another one of these fake, stupid organizations, to back the Kids Online Safety Act. And she partnered with Dove, again, because the corporations love the Online Safety Act. They want more data on children. So they love it. They love it. Okay, so she was acquitted of, I guess, abusing her dancers. Still, that does not mean that she is not accountable for what she's doing in terms of the harm by backing things like the Online Safety Act. This is terrible. We do not want these First of all, these politicians, why is she even weighing in? Like, I think it's so insidious that, again, you have these corporations like Dove, which is partnering with these far-right reactionary groups, getting celebrities who are probably like their brand ambassadors on board, getting people like Kristen Bell, Madison Beer, or whatever, like, getting these celebrities on board and then using these celebrities, because they know the celebrities will make headlines, to push their reactionary political agenda. They don't have to do that. They could literally just shut up. I also think, like, I just have to show you for the Wikipedia for the Kids Online Safety Act, it says somewhere down here, wait, I'm going to find it. It says, hold on. I just want to find Lizzo. Oh, yeah. It's so funny because it's like, KOSA has been supported by the most evil companies of all time. It has been supported by, these the multinational corporation Unilever, conservative think tank Project 2025 organizer, the Heritage Foundation, fundamentalist Protestant organization Focus on the Family, and rapper and singer Lizzo. Like, no, we don't want to defend Dove in any capacity, you guys. Unilever does a lot of evil shit. Okay, we don't want to support any of these people. Sorry, I keep cursing. I just think this is like nothing. This shows the hypocrisy of liberals and liberalism and like corporate feminism and just like liberal. Like liberal ideology, like Michelle Obama. Again, like Michelle Obama, Kristen Bell, like all these people, all these liberals. Because again, it's being this law is being pushed by a lot of liberals. But you have, again, anti-adult content lobbying group, conservative think tank, Heritage Foundation, fundamentalist organization, Focus on the Family. Like that, these are who you're aligning yourself with when you back these horrible identity verification laws and child safety laws. That is who you are pushing Project 2025 when you support this stuff. And that's what these celebrities don't seem to care about, I guess, because I don't know, they're getting, well, I mean, in some cases they're getting paid. So let's talk about that, by the way. And yeah, maybe I'll do a video breaking down some of these groups, because I think a lot of these groups have very shady names where they're like, oh yeah, common sense. Oh yeah, like Moms Against Media Addiction. That's another ridiculous group. Like they have these like kind of like just like bullshit, like, oh, I can't stop cursing. These kind of nonsense names that you don't immediately realize that they're right wing, but then when you dig into it, you realize, oh shoot, this is just again an outgrowth of the Heritage Foundation. So again, I think who knows if like Lizzo was paid. Clearly she has some sort of partnership with Dove. So did they give her more money to support KOSA? Who knows, what these celebrities and kind of like what their deals are, but certainly some people are being paid. And I want to talk about that because that's happening. So some influencers and celebrities are being paid to promote these age verification laws. Now, it's important to understand that age verification in the UK, and again, I'm not saying age verification, but what we're really talking about is the Online Safety Act. Okay, so here we have the Kids Online Safety Act. In the UK, they have the UK Online Safety. Sorry, we have the Kids Online Safety Act. They have the UK Online Safety Act. KOSA and UKOSA are literally the same thing. UKOSA obviously passed in the UK. KOSA has not passed yet in America. It is part of that package of 19 bills in the House right now that Democrats are really aggressively trying to push through along with Republicans. But these influencers are being paid to support these laws. They're being paid to support these laws. And I think that is disgusting. So let's just watch. One thing, sorry, this is what I meant to say a second ago, is that like, while a lot of stuff is happening, and if you watch my recent video on today's Free Speech Friday, you'll see that I made I made a video with Mike Stable from the Free Speech Coalition on the Screen Act, which is an anti-adult content like act. So a lot of it is being pushed through under like, I'm just gonna have to censor this video later, like pornography laws, like anti-pornography laws. Um, so like the moral panic around pornography is one way these laws are being pushed through. They're also being pushed through about like child mental health, stuff like as well, and like social media, cracking down on big tech. We have a lot of that. So it's, I guess I should say, the three main arguments for, or the three main narratives that proponents of these really horrible, aggressive censorship and surveillance laws are using to push them through is one, falsely claiming that they crack down on big tech. Two, falsely claiming that they like, protect children's mental health somehow. And three, claiming that they protect children from pornography. So, um, anyway, a bunch of people, so the groups are running sponsored campaigns to push this legislation, and they're getting influencers on board. In this case, this happened in the UK. And let's just watch the sponsored post and kind of debunk some of it. So if you guys don't know who Olivia Bentley is, she was on a UK reality show. So she's like a Bravo celebrity, but not on Bravo. Okay, so let's watch it.
Hopefully I've now got your attention. Just like this pornography beer, as of the 25th of July, you will need to prove that you are over 18 to be able to get served pornography online.
It's nothing like that beer, but we'll get into that in a second.
This is not to judge anyone or to ruin the fun for any adults.
This is not to ruin the fun for any adults. Never mind. All adults will have to go through this. All adults will now have to, if something like the Screen Act, which is our version of this, or KOSA in the US, adults are going to have to like scan their faces every hour or re-authenticate themselves every hour to look at content that's considered adult. Which, by the way, let's talk about the fact that pornography just means LGBTQ content, right? Like this is all part of the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. So this is not. We'll get into that in a minute.
Purely to stop children seeing content that is made for adults. The new rules are here to make the internet safer for children because some things are for adults only. To be honest, the current age checks on sites just aren't cutting it. And I mean, we've all...
I like that she notes that there's already age checks on these types of sites. She wants to do more of it.
Clicked on things that we just weren't ready for. Having age checks will help avoid that. It's quick, it's private.
It's not quick, and it's certainly not private. It is certainly not private.
And it's accepted. A bit like when you go to the pub and you have to show your ID. Almost as...
It's nothing like going to a pub. It's nothing. Because first of all, pubs are like it's a specific place that you would go and show an ID temporarily. You're not entering your information and scanning your face to a permanent database that will, live forever, that the government will permanently have access to. And it's not tying every single thing that you do in that pub to your like permanent identity. You know what I mean? Like it's like as if when you walk into a pub, every single thing that you say and do is not recorded and tied to that ID. And that ID is not stored in some master database that the government and anybody else can access. Like, what are you even talking about? Also, it's like a pub is like, they're saying like when you enter, you have to, show your ID. That's not like the internet. The internet, it would be like having to show your ID to like read a book, and then every single thing that you read in that book is tied to, it's not even like, there's not even an offline equivalent, honestly. It's just, it's all so ridiculous. And this is such a like a bad faith argument that that this woman is using. And not to mention that people's browser histories, people's search histories, the information that they consume, not only can that be used against you by the government, you can be blackmailed with that. That information can be used against you by future employers. You could see employers buying these data sets to discriminate or to block people from jobs, saying, I don't want people that somebody's been Googling information about like Marxist rhetoric. I don't want to hire that person. I don't want to hire a person who's consumed XYZ type of adult content. It's just, this is all just ridiculous.
As if the internet is finally growing up, but in all seriousness, this is about keeping it safer for children.
It's not about keeping it safer for children. And she's like, it's almost like the internet is finally growing up. What, by enacting mass surveillance? What are you talking about? And again, she was paid to post this. It's about time that children are protected online. Again, none of this protects children. And just in case you're wondering if it protects children, the Heritage Foundation says that, of course, the GOP will use KOSA to censor LGBTQ content. Of course they will. They plan to use it. They're like bragging about how excited they are to use it. And it's not just that either. It's also any content about feminism, any content, let's see what else they're bragging about. Oh, yeah. It will also be used to hide all abortion information from the internet. Okay? That's what's going on. And that's what they want. That's the point of, that's what all this is. That's what this is about. Why are so many Democrats who claim protecting abortion means LGBTQ rights are still co-sponsoring KOSA? So I just want to say again, like, these people that claim that they want to protect abortion rights, protect whatever, no, they don't. They literally want to eliminate abortion information from the internet. It's so infuriating. And then they have these influencers and celebrities, like they have these influencers and celebrities that they're paying to promote it, and other influencers and celebrities that are just promoting it because they want to anyway. And I think it's really important too. So like the UK is a couple years ahead of us. Hopefully they're not. Hopefully we can stop it. Hopefully basically what Australia and the UK are doing does not come here. The articles from 2023, because that's when the KOSA, the Tector articles from 2023, because that's when KOSA was last being promoted. None of this is new. None of this is new. And it's not like they don't know this stuff. And actually the real fight against KOSA started in 2022. If you go back and watch my first video on KOSA, you'll see it's from 2022. I got in trouble for making it when I was at the Washington Post, because I wasn't supposed to be fighting with members of Congress, but I was. Anyway, so none of this is new. But what I was saying is that the UK is a little bit like more, obviously the UK is more authoritarian. So UKOSA has already passed. KOSA here has not passed. Under UKOSA, they now want to, it's not enough just to censor like she's saying, oh, it's like when you walk into a pub. When you walk into a pub, you show your ID. Oh, and some people will be like, well, I'm not going to any adult websites. I'm not going to adult websites. Why do I have to care? Okay, well, let's talk about what's going on now in the UK. They want to preemptively scan all your digital communication. So it's like, again, this just shows this, like, it's not even a slippery slope because they're being open about it. It's the fact that like they get people on board with authoritarianism, through these things like protect the children. Now, before you know it, they want to scan all your text messages, right? Like, and so this is all, again, under the Online Safety Act, which we have the Kids Online Safety Act here, where basically they want to deploy surveillance-style systems that can scan, detect, and block user-generated content before it can be seen. What do they want to block? They want to block adult content. They want content detection algorithms. And of course, this is all using AI. And yeah, of course, blocking unsolicited nudes sounds good, of course, but that's not the only thing that's going to be blocked. It's this person is saying, sorry, for too long, cyber flashing is abuse. Yeah, we're not pro cyber flashing, right? But here's what they want to do to allegedly combat it. Again, it's all under the guise of cracking down on porn and stuff. And how are they to know when something's consensual and when something's not? They don't know, of course. Routine surveillance of user-generated content. Compliance will require platforms to perform mass scanning of images and uploads across their networks, even in spaces traditionally regarded as private. That's horrible. And this is the thing. It's like what they don't want. They don't want people being able to send nudes, and they don't want people being able to send this is going to like evolve so quickly. Of course, it's like any adult content could just be as we saw, one of the first things blocked under the Online Safety Act. Guess, actually put in the chat, guess what you think was one of the first things blocked under the Online Safety Act. If you've read my Guardian article, you probably know. But just guess. I'm so curious what you guys think was some of the content that was first blocked under the Online Safety Act. See if you can guess it. This act that was all about protecting children and preserving children's innocence. And of course, yes, we don't want kids, their mental health protected and da, 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 da. Try to guess what some of the content that was first blocked was. It was pro-Palestine content. It was not Epstein. It was not video games. It was r/war crimes or r/Israel war crimes or r/war crimes. Basically, it was a subreddit entirely dedicated to war crimes. And so it was all content that was politically inexpedient. Of course, trans content was censored around that same time. Education content. Also, forums where children could learn about abuse and report abuse were blocked. Alcoholics Anonymous forums were blocked. All of this stuff. But it's just absurd. And so you see how this stuff is used. The Online Safety Act goes through. What does it start blocking? Pro-Palestine content. What does it start blocking? LGBTQ content, reproductive justice content, all of this stuff. Not to mention just any information about human rights abuse. They blocked a new political party. This politician was trying to start a new political party in the UK. They blocked his posts or her posts. I can't remember if it was a man or a woman. They just block anything that's not that the government doesn't like. And if you're asking how was a helpline for children related, because kids would have to describe their abuse, and to describe their abuse, they would have to talk about, private areas of their body, which is considered adult content. So you can't even inform kids about abuse or collect reports of kids being abused. So they don't want kids to get help. They don't want to protect kids at all. None of this is about protecting kids. None of it. And it's so depressing to see that, we're doing the same thing in America. We're doing the same thing in America right now, where these Democrats, primarily Democrats, the only reason that KOSA hasn't moved further in the House is because Democrats, not Republicans, Democrats want even more. They want it to be even stricter. They want it to be even harsher. They want it even tougher. Like they want to reestablish this duty of care thing that would make the law even worse. So it's insane. It's really absurd. And here you have, this is just like such a good example again, where we see the Heritage Foundation openly states that they'll use bills, again, like KOSA. Let's just open it so I can read it more easily. The Heritage Foundation, so this person tweeted I think she's maybe a liberal. The Heritage Foundation openly states that they'll use bills purporting to protect kids to instead attack trans content, saying it's posing a risk of social contagion. This is super concerning, especially given the bills have bipartisan support. And this is actually talking about COPPA 2.0. So here this person is saying, hey, the Heritage Foundation is going to use these bills. The Heritage Foundation quote tweets it and said, yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we are going to use these bills purporting to protect kids in this way. Keeping trans content away from children is protecting kids. No child should be conditioned to think that permanently damaging their healthy bodies to try to become something they can never be is even a remotely good idea. It's just so crazy. Because you have them saying it outright. Oh my gosh, sorry, my group chats. I don't check my group chat for a minute and they're all blowing up. Oh, and also ICE is in my neighborhood. Wow, great. Anyway, they're saying it, guys. They're saying it out loud in 4K. They're saying it. And liberals and leftists, even leftists, are still going along with this. They're still going along with this. It's just ridiculous. And by the way, speaking of crazy social media laws, they want to limit in Virginia's age verification law limits kid to 1 hour of social media a day. So I think I heard you guys, some of the people in the chat before being like, what do you mean like, refreshing every hour? In some of these states, they want to put time limits on how often people can access certain websites. And of course, if you refuse to verify, you're going to have to verify. But it's this point of like, it's not even just like, here's the thing. Putting your information into an age verification system, even once, is dangerous enough, even once. But these companies and these organizations and these terrible groups want you to have to do it over and over and over again. They want to make this law where now you have to enter your information in every single hour in order to like re-up or try to block you from accessing it for more than an hour. Never mind that you're trying to get like, I don't know, crucial information. The Repro Uncensored Project has done a great job of showing how abortion content is targeted in these laws aggressively as well, which is what's happening in Virginia. And yeah, this all goes back to treating social media use like an addiction, which is why I did that video recently debunking this idea. And I need to do a video actually with an expert on this topic who's willing to talk about it even more. But all of this stuff is just absurd. It's absurd. So yeah, so it's terrible. Celebrities are going along with it. Lizzo, Meghan Markle, Kristen Bell, Madison Beer, it's all just ridiculous. So the next time you see some stupid comment from a celebrity, please go reply to them, please, and say how bad this stuff is. I don't even know if anybody's doing that under these laws. Hopefully people are, because it got quote tweeted by like this other account. I don't think these are Madison Beer fans, but it is good to see stuff. As somebody says, when she was 13, she was posting videos of herself singing songs in 2012. She was discovered online for her talent thanks to Bieber sharing a link to her video. Social networking gave her a career at the age of 14. Yeah, you don't have to go. Sorry, I know I'm telling you to go on X. You don't have to. It's a terrible cursed place, but I'm just saying. And by the way, look at these. So you saw the responses at the top, which I think are mostly people that are reacting that follow the account that quote tweeted. Should be 18, to be honest. And people are liking this. Based conservatives. Just absurd. I know. Next prime minister. And she'd be right. Based. I support. Oh, Madison, my socially aware queen. People are supporting this. She's right. Period. Go diva. I love you so much. Period. Agree. Wholly based. Like these are these dumbass stan accounts that are supporting mass surveillance. So I really think it's like you see how fandoms, it's like Madison Beer doesn't even have the strongest fandom. Think of all the other celebrities that they're trying to recruit in their stupid campaign. By the way, I'm sure they're trying to recruit so many celebrities, but you can see here how these fandoms just go along with whatever their dumb, uninformed celebrity has to say about this topic. So terrible, terrible, terrible. We see all this misinformation. This worst person made the great point. Wow. Well, anyway, that's enough of that. But yeah, anyway, I've been talking about this for so long. But thank you so much for listening to me rant about this. And let's please hold these celebrities accountable. There are not, unfortunately, no celebrities are speaking out on the right side of things. I wish they would. They're just not. Somebody I know was trying to get in touch with like Joseph Gordon-Levitt recently. Apparently he's been really outspoken about AI. So people were like, maybe he would take this on. But yeah, I don't think so. I don't think any celebrities actually care about mass surveillance. I don't think they want to go against power. And this is bipartisan. Again, like let's remember that both the Democrats and the Republicans support this. So there's not a lot of leftist celebrities, and those leftist celebrities like really only speak out about sort of things that are socially acceptable to speak out about. They're not speaking out about, things that are not socially acceptable. They're not speaking out about COVID. They're not speaking out about like, I mean, some of them speak out about Palestine because it's considered socially acceptable in leftist circles, but a lot of leftists fall for this nonsense. And so these celebrities don't want to speak out. They don't want to talk about like, oh yeah, I'm against these child safety laws. This is all coded, coded 2025 stuff. But Mark Ruffalo is fundamentally a liberal, but yeah, maybe he would. I don't know. And yeah, I've tried to talk to the Majority Report about this. I texted Emma about it, and I think I emailed Sam about it. I can't remember if I actually emailed Sam or I asked Emma for Sam's email, but I've talked to Emma about it, and I think she totally agrees on this. I don't think they're for pro surveillance, but I think that they don't know. Like the Majority Report just doesn't cover tech policy that much. They cover mainly like mainstream political stuff. So yeah, there's just not a lot of, I mean, like, guys, let's be honest. What big leftist political influencer covers tech policy? I don't know any of them that cover tech policy. I think Hassan did like one segment about this, I think because I was like basically bullying him to do it, but I don't know. And I think he cares about it, but I think most political influencers are focused on like isolate, right? Like the big issues of the day. And what I would argue is that social media and tech policy is completely intertwined with all of that. But I think unless you're paying attention to tech policy, you're not covering it as much. So yeah, go to the comments of these other influencers and tell them to talk about it. I think they should. I know myself and a lot of other activists have put together a lot of information that these content creators can use. But it's grim.